but it's kind of unclear. It looks like the producer and the director were two of the stars in the movie, so that's cool. Like in Starcrackers. See, it's all tied in. See, I was in Starcrackers, fan film, and I played numerous characters. Mark's Cards played numerous other characters, and Carrie and Thompson and Raxler, and Harry Thompson, Raxler. My friend Tim played Schmidt, and well, I'll tell you who all the characters were. There was Mark's Cards. He was playing Captain Clark, and the captain. And he's playing Henderson, who was basically Jimmy Mezzi from our school. Basically, he's imitating him. But it didn't make sense. At the time it did, because we were like young 20s, late teens, early 20s. Tim was the Marine Sergeant, and Schmidt. And he was also the engineer Moore. He was supposed to be Lonnie, but we couldn't get him. He would have been black. And we wouldn't have called him Moore at that point. We just didn't know what we were doing. Also, Mark's Cards played the Techite, the dog-like character. So dog romance is around even back then in '92. And then you have Asloth, who was on his own planet. He's not autistic. He's on his own planet. So then we have Thompson was the tactical officer. I played him. Played Carrie, the young corporal, who was trying to figure things out. Space cadet. And Raxler, the villain. I played the villain. Raxler of the 3rd Zurich Garrison. I have a white cloth wrapped around my head because I just stepped out of the shower. The funny thing about that joke is that apparently Jim, who was the other friend that was doing some of the camera work, Mark's Cards was also doing the camera work. Jim Buffkin, not the other Jim Buffkin, back in the day. He thought we were spoofing Iraqi people by having Kimchi, I was also Kimchi the psychologist, and Dr. Lancaster. Of course, because my sister Martha wouldn't do it. She did some of the props, but she wouldn't do it. The table prop is actually in her living room. It's the living room table. But I have some of the other props in here. So yeah, this is the actual chair that Sarah Giannoli sits in when being lectured in the council chamber, in the counseling office, in the reboot. But it's still from the lounge. The other lounge chairs were eaten by a dog, but Martha's dog. But yeah, and this was the actual. This room was actually the engine room / bedroom / studio 2 of the Starcrackers. We're actually in the engine room, and all these toys lying around are because they're in the middle of a season of all Transformers MUSH, and they're just lying around in here because it's a season of all Transformers MUSH. So yeah, and we just finished the Halloween special, and it's now uploaded. Go watch it. Fading Empires. It's a movie, feature-length Transformer film. It was harrowing to put together because the way we did it, we thought, oh, this is really cool. We can do the audio as a rehearsal take and use that rehearsal audio and then do the video later. And it made twice as much video and not as good, I think. It worked because we managed to edit it together. I managed to edit it together, but it didn't. Don't do it that way. Just do it live with the dialogue on the page. It's way quicker, uses up less time and space on the computer. We've burned up several of those storage drives on this series so far. But yes, Fading Empires was based on the Transformers MUSH story and TF Board's story by Gabriel Kwan, which was called Genesis Fading Memories, and it was about the Quintessons. But we changed it to our heroes and villains. Anyway, you don't need to. We're going to go into that later. But this is not a behind the scenes of that. I just thought I would mention that's how they're going. And then the reason we recorded Mano Sands of Fate starting at 6 o'clock tonight on Halloween night, so we can post it on Halloween night on there as well. So we have that up there on Halloween night, and you can watch the Halloween special. And yeah, it's a feature-length Transformers film before that. The Halloween special will appear on the other channel, though. So, yeah. It'll appear on location Cats, which is where it usually does for the past, because it's KCSF. It's a cat show episode. Yes, from the 12th season, 12th season finale. Back then was the 11th season finale was SAP production showing up again to launch rockets in the park illegally. Yeah, so they post that video. That's up, but all the other ones are not so much. Yeah, it's kind of a short season. But yeah, this is the runabout room. So this is that's downstairs. This is the ship. Transformers ship. Who's this guy? Excellent. Tommy Wiseau bot here. Not really. This is Nitro Zeus. Is his name? Is technically ad matcher from last night. And Mark Skarsgård's real name was in Age of Extinction and The Last Night, because we had something to do with those two movies, but they didn't pay us. Anyway, so yeah, gosh, actually we had a little bit to do with Dark of the Moon too. Filmed it in Chicago. Yeah, so a little bit of Dark of the Moon, but yeah, but not Bumblebee, oddly enough. Even though that was filmed out here, that's weird. Yeah, why weren't we in that one? But we weren't in the Man with Hands of Fate. I wasn't born yet. Nope. Wasn't born yet. So, anyway, yeah, I think my sister was born at that point. Yeah. She wasn't in it. No, but we were in the Milpitas Monster, so there you go. You know, the kids in the kids scene in the director's cut of Milpitas Monster were Martha, Candy, Connie, me, and Lisa and David. And Bernie was in the background for a fraction of a second. Bernie Sandoval. A fraction of a second in the background. Yes, I was barely in there. Just barely. I think you can hear my voice in there, but you don't actually see me. In the scene where they run up to the house to get soda. So yeah, but my father was actually in the council chamber scene. Being a melodrama actor, he jumped up, did his bit, and it's awesome that Bob Wilkinson, John Stanley's predecessor, was actually the Otorola guy. Yes, the Milpitas Monster. Ah, yes. I gotta plug my own local stuff here. As Robert Burrow. I didn't go to school with him, but there was a whole generations that did. And there was a film school. He was still doing some film school stuff because Rick Davis, who was one of the old Young Swan, but ex-Young Swan people, was playing the monster at the two special events that were going. Whenever they did the special events in 2015, 2016, he would play the monster in an update of the monster suit. He'd apparently had him in film class when he was at state. So, yeah, that's cool. So, that was later, though. That was 2015. But he remembered him from film class. So he was probably there when I was there again in journalism class. He was probably there 10 years earlier. And he remembered him. So he's like, yeah, I'd like to play the monster. Okay. I'll do it. But yeah, Yalos. Yeah. The hell? It's a tough movie. It's really hard to watch this. Yeah. Yalos. So, yeah, Suspiria is a better movie. So, some of the greatest horror movies. Maybe I should do like a thing on. I think we already reviewed Suspiria back in the day, but briefly. But yeah, I've seen a lot of the Brandon Tanault website where he's reviewing cult movies. I've seen a lot of the movies he reviewed, but some of them I haven't. But yeah, And also the Dexter Shadow Stout site keeps popping up on the website as well. It also does cult movies and things like that. The guy with the hair, the internet hair guy, who looks kind of like Weird Al Yankovic, like a young Weird Al Yankovic. Which is cool. The shtick. He had a cameo with Louis Lughog years ago on there. That Louis Lughog is of course Linkara in his profile name on the other sites, the comic book guy. And I don't know him personally. Yep. Let's see. What's funny is I was watching some of these other, came across some of the other YouTuber guys, and since we're just rambling, because it's Halloween, noting that the Mario and Wario guys and some of the others from Fanime that showed up, and it wasn't Neighbor Video Game Nerd, it was like Video Critic and some other guy. It wasn't Nostalgia Critic people, it was just other people like that. It was after them. You know, they weren't there in 2018 or 2019. It was after them. Yeah, found their channels afterward. Well, like, oh, they're YouTube channels. There they are. Yeah. Then it was an interesting coincidence that it's at Cats and what's the other one? Definitely Cats. The Kevin Smith movie. The Kevin Smith premiere, San Jose premiere, Milpitas, they were next to San Jose premiere thing for the Kevin Smith movie. The Black Video Nerd was critic was there at both of those. So the Cat screening, which was oddly enough in Eastridge, he was over there at Eastridge, and then he was over there. So he must be a local, and he was over at the Kevin Smith thing was at the Great Mall, and there were several weeks apart, but it was kind of funny. Like, wait a minute, weren't you in that other one? Weren't you in that stoner comedy like 2 months ago? Like, yeah. Gonna cover it from a YouTube channel. Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. Excellent. Oh, and the type of hallucinogenic mushrooms and coke that produced Cats, that type of stuff they were doing in that movie, they should have just used the play and just made an updated version of the play. Should use the play. Anyway, but that's Cats. That type of drugs, this movie too. They were high as fuck. This movie. Holy shit. Oh. Kind of looks like a mask. A hooded mask. It's not. It's his cape. It's his cape. Looks like eyes. His mask. If you would almost like shot on video. But wow. If Nostalgia Critic gets around to this one. You should totally watch this, Doug. Watch it. You'll be baffled if you have not seen this. Walker Brothers, watch this movie. You'll be like, what? Menace the Hands of Fate. I think Brad Jones has already seen this. He has seen this, but but yeah, they'll be like, I could just see their first viewing thing, like, what? What the hell? What? Nervous laughter. Tamara's never seen Tamara Chambers. Do you dare watch the Manos Hands of Fate? Oh no, she'd be like, she'd probably be like, I hated this movie. Anyway, oh yes. But Lindsay Ellis, formerly of the Channel Awesome, of the creator of the Big Lipped Alligator Moment. Well, actually, Don Bluth is technically the creator of the Big Lipped Alligator Moment, but she coined the phrase, but made the phrase popular. But yes, yeah, all dogs are gonna have a big lipped alligator. Anyway, so yeah, she should watch this and review it, and she should analyze it psychologically. Say like, yes, the '60s was weird. Happy Halloween, I guess. Oh, this is a weird one. I'll put this on the other channel. This is a weird one. Yeah. Can't say it's the worst movie I've ever seen, though. I have seen worse. It's bad, but I have seen worse. I saw a horror movie that was worse than it's supposed to be called. But Book of Shadows was actually more boring than this. but yeah, let's see. Leprechaun 2? It's pretty bad. Oh no. Seed of Chucky is probably worse than this movie. At least there was more going on, but it was still stupid. It was like really stupid. Like there were 2 jokes in it. Seed of Chucky. Really? Chucky was a little evil doll. Oh. But what was cool about movies like Suspiria, like the Giallos, is you didn't know what the hell was going on. The Argento was like, okay, I'm gonna do this evil like witches dance school, and I'm gonna have, and somebody remade it. Somebody remade it a couple of years ago, and the remake is passable. It has some good ideas as a sequel. I would consider it a follow-up or reboot. But why remake it? It's sort of like somebody remade Psycho shot for shot color. It's like, why remake that? Do something different, man. Or you can do it like Hitchcock did it. Yeah, but you're not Hitchcock. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, the original's a classic because of the point of view or POV and stuff. Psycho is one of the scary movies because it's a psychological thriller, and that one you don't know what the hell Norman Bates is doing. And then when he kills, you don't actually see the knife. They just like glint of it, and then you see until you see screams. See, you don't actually see anything, and then you see the syrup going down the drain. It's in black and white. That's actually scarier than showing him going ah. It's like, okay, he's just, yeah. It's not as scary. But yeah, this guy is a vampire dude. And this burning hand thing that's on fire in the background. Which begs the question, whose hand was that he set up that was eternally burning? Monkey's paw. This is a classic story. Not sure who wrote that. Was it Poe? I think it was somebody other than Poe. I think it was Poe. Poe did a lot of weird stuff. It wasn't him. What other horror movies were the worst horror movies ever that I'd seen? I think a few of them. Let's see. Well, a couple of the Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was pretty bad. It was the one with the school bus. It went from being like really, really fucked up to being really silly and campy. Like immediately, like, oh, now we're gonna tell jokes. Haha, kids. I was like, what the heck? What? It's sort of like Ninja Turtles 2 decided to be suddenly cute. Like more like the cartoon. Why? And then the third one went off on a tangent. But that wasn't a horror. That was fantasy. It's Ninja Turtles fantasy because it's not sci-fi really. It's fantasy. It's a little bit sci-fi, but it's fantasy. Turtles that walk around. Giant tortoise people. But that's completely different. Gamera of the Brave. Now that's just no. The Gamera movies were made for kids. They're their own thing. They're like, yeah, weren't supposed to be taken seriously. By the time they got to Gamera the Brave, they're like, oh, okay, we don't really give a shit. The 1989 Godzilla. The 1998 Godzilla movie was pretty bad. That's not really... Well, that's horror, yeah. Creature, fantasy horror. Yeah, Godzilla's horror. Yeah. fantasy horror. Yeah. Let's see. But the other one's a classic. Actually, the first Godzilla movie is actually dark. It's messed up. It's like it's not even humorous. It's just like, oh, nuclear monster that was created from the atomic test. Oh, it's just really dark, messed up. So, yeah, the first one's not fun. It's classic, but it's not fun. But yeah, oh boy, I've been going on way too long with this. I'm not even stoned or anything. It's got like bottled water. It's like, man, I had pizza earlier. It's not even malt liquor or nothing. That's just water. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Yeah. I know Sven's